there's certain players, you know, that obviously that do start off a little bit rusty. I think Jordan is one of them, but once he gets into the tournament, my God, he's some player.
Well, and that was borne out with his one Ultimate Pool title to date. The Pro Cup last year got off to a pretty bad start in his first round match and almost got knocked out. And then, exactly as you say, he just grew in confidence and was pretty much unplayable. He actually beat Chris Melling en route to that title in one of the quickest matches I think I've ever seen on the Ultimate Pool circuit. We were thinking the match was about to start, and then we found ourselves out there doing the post-match interviews, and only a few minutes seem to have gone down. It'll certainly be a quick contest between the two of them.
From what I've seen from some of Jordan's other matches, he looked like he took a little bit off the break there, and obviously he didn't pot a ball, but certainly he's been hitting the break harder than that from what I've seen so far. It's almost like he just hit a solid break there, maybe first frame, just hoping to, you know, control the cue ball and get a ball, but obviously he's dry broken. Melling's played a good first shot there, and looks like he's got a good chance to win this first frame.
I think Chris will have been glad to have this slight dinner break. He was complaining, and understandably, earlier on that he'd been in back-to-back matches, finished a tough last 16 and then was called straight back on for his quarter-final. It's kind of inevitable with the format. There were 3 quarter-finals happening at the same time, so no other way of doing it, but I think he felt like he hadn't had much time away from the table. So a bit of time to regroup now.
Yeah, it's different for different players, so some players actually like to go on straight away if you win a match. Sometimes for certain players it's more comfortable to go on straight away, you feel a bit more relaxed, but maybe in terms of Melling, he likes to have a break or whatever between games. But
I don't think anybody could have quite seen him winning as much as he had. So let's look at the Chris Melling break, which is normally a pretty powerful one. Well, I think that lives up to its billing. Got plenty on that. Eight ball almost finding the centre pocket. That wouldn't have mattered, of course. We're not playing golden breaks in this event, so the ball would just have been respotted.
Extension called.
These balls have split out pretty well. This is a lovely start for Chris. 1 on the board already. Chance to add a second.
yeah, not obviously on the yellows here. Looks quite an easy finish, but his toughest ball is going to be the yellow, which is not nearest to the break line, the one second nearest to it. So obviously it's being blocked by the yellow nearest to the break line at the moment, and that's going to be his toughest ball, because at the moment there's not a pocket for it. So until he pots the ball which is nearest to the break line, so the break box line, should we say, that ball doesn't go. So he needs to pot that ball first before that ball goes.
Yeah, that's why he's just giving himself a moment to plan this route, even though it looks fairly elementary. That issue you've identified is giving him a slight pause for thought. So Chris is pretty much the quickest player on the circuit. To the extent he's not the quickest, it might well be his opponent that takes that honour. Both of these players have spent a lot of time in China recently playing Chinese 8-ball. I mean, it doesn't appear to have affected either of their games, but it is, in terms of the physics of the balls, quite a different game. Same or similar rules and similar patterns, but much heavier cue ball, which does react differently.
Yeah, it looks like Melling's going to be... Looks like he's going to be leaving the last yellow into the bottom right corner, and just needs to just miss the yellow now, which he has done, and that's a nice shot. It's better than it looked at, because it was a soft stun run through, and he had to just miss the yellow there to land as well as he did on the last yellow, which he has done.
Yeah, it's the kind of shot that can make you look quite stupid. He made it look very easy the way he played it, but a lot of players would have ended up in a bad position from there. 5 matches in that, but it's kind of a tough school if you lose in the first round. Obviously, we're delighted that you've been able to join us for a bit of media work, but it can be a long weekend if you lose first thing on Thursday and then you're not playing again until the Saturday.
Of course, yeah, but it's part and parcel of playing in these events, you know. Everyone's come here, lost first round in the first event, and you've just got to get yourself ready for the Saturday, and you go again in the next event. It's just part of the game.
That's the right mindset. No, not one shared by all of your fellow competitors at times, I think.
No, I bet it's not.
Can be a frustrating game though. I think the fact that the venue's so busy, it's hard to get any practice in, so you sort of want to go and play some more pool, and that's not always immediately possible. So we're seeing an uncharacteristic miss from Chris Melling. Not an easy shot that, because he was cutting the ball back, but one you wouldn't have expected him to miss.
Yeah, and from Melling's thought here, probably not too bothered about missing that, because it's still a tough finish for Jordan, and he's more unlikely to have a go at it. Not saying he's not going to clear up, but it's certainly not easy, so if Melling was going to miss a ball in this finish, probably the first ball was ideal, if anything.
Yeah, there are definitely times when you'd rather your opponent went for a finish. The absolutely worst thing is to get in and pass a few balls and just tidy up the place for your opponent. At least, as you say here, there's still a bit to be done for Jordan. A bit short with that positional shot, looking to run on a few more inches.
Yeah, and I think it will be just a safety shot now from Jordan, not really an obvious pot on.
Well, that could turn out to be a blessing in disguise. I think had he landed on the ball to the top left-hand corner, he'd probably felt obliged to continue with the finish, which wasn't guaranteed. Slightly improved one of his bad balls now.
So it looks like Melling's going to play the loss of turn shot, and where he's aiming his cue there is probably where he's going to try to leave the cue ball, which he has done.
That's another shot that was better than it looked. It looked like it was obviously an unmissable plant there, but actually finding that path of the cue ball not anywhere near as unmissable. And it would have been a mess to have left the cue ball in the middle of the table. He did need to get it over to that side.
Yeah, and it just shows as bad as the Reds are here, you know, Melling knows how good Jordan is, and he really thought about where he wanted to leave the cue ball there to not leave him anything to go at, if you know what I mean.
So he's going to play a containing shot. This is reasonably disciplined from both of these guys so far. And they've both got good tactical games, but not a side that you always see a lot of. Not relevant, of course, whether or not this white is touching that yellow ball really for anything more than academic interest. He's going to play and hit a red anyway.
It's a nice shot from Jordan, because if Melling was to leave Jordan anything here, he does now have a finish on, and certainly Melling's got to play some sort of safety shot now to at least tie the Reds up a little bit.
going cat and mouse at the moment. These are positions that in practice both of them would have been more than happy to swing their arm at before now, but they're both playing a measured game at the moment. And even there, kind of played as a shot to nothing. So obviously playing it close to the corner pocket, but wasn't playing it full out for the pot. It's the kind of position where it's only really one shot away from just opening right up. If either of them plays a loose one, there's every chance of leaving everything for their opponent.
Yeah, and Melling would have wanted to pot that ball there because Jordan now has the loss of turn shot, and you can actually play this loss of turn shot now and possibly knock this yellow to the side rail as well, which would... He's potted it, and if he is on the one to the right middle, there is a finish on.
Yeah, from an overhead angle, it looks like he's blocked on this, but he's giving it a good hard look.
Yeah, I would say it goes, and what he'd be looking to do here is, if he could leave... Oh no, it doesn't go. This is now a lot tougher finish than I thought.
Yeah, he's got a few problem balls here because the 8 ball only really goes into one pocket, and that's not an easy one to get onto. Ball near the right centre. Well, he may be on it now, but that's not ideal. He may have to take it though, because it's not really going to get a better chance. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a really good shot.
It is, but the only problem is, if he could have chosen a ball to leave as last ball, it would have been the ball he's going to have to play now, and certainly getting back to the 8 ball off the red nearest to the balk area, it's going to be a very tough shot. No matter where he leaves the cue ball, but he's left a decent angle, possibly to screw into the 8 ball.
Yeah, he'd love to be straight enough. It's like he's got a trace of angle the wrong way, but can he just pinch enough of this? Certainly got the cue power for this shot.
And that's a great effort. What a shot that is. That's a fantastic shot. If it doesn't go clean, it certainly goes off the yellow, which is nearest to the side cushion. But that's exactly what he was playing there as well.
And this is exactly what Jordan brings to the table, this kind of attacking quality. Just couldn't find a route through the 2 yellows though. Done all the hard work in that frame. Was tight there when you see it from that angle.
Yeah, and with the yellow actually being on the side cushion touching, it was a lot of a tougher shot than it looked at, because he had to clip that yellow very thin for the 8 ball to not double kiss. But what's Melling done here? He's pretty much left no shot now, and he's either got to go for a risky pot to the top left or play a safety where Jordan could actually pot the 8 ball.
Yeah, he's going to be very annoyed with himself because he's got a big margin for error for leaving himself on something. He needs to play a telling safety shot here because, well, it's as good as he can do. I think there is a 1 cushion up and down still.
Yeah, and he also has the 1 cushion, side cushion. Whether that's, I'm not sure how much he can hit of the 8 ball coming off the side cushion, but if not, off the top cushion he would fancy to get very close to this. Certainly Jordan would fancy playing this now if he's just missed that to the side, hasn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he would have fancied getting that as well.
So as it proved immediately costly for Chris, back to the table with ball in hand. See, the position of the 8 ball isn't great, but the fact there's another ball next to it is quite a good way of opening that pocket up. So can elect to either do that now with ball in hand or come back for that later on. I'd be slightly surprised. Yeah, it does feel like it's not the most difficult position to open up. It did look for a moment like he was considering almost playing a containing shot.
not sure what he's doing there because yeah, that seemed a strange shot to me because I know he's obviously playing that shot now, but he could have played that first shot with cue ball in hand and sort of guaranteed them balls coming out. And I know that ball was near the left rail, but it certainly wouldn't have been a problem for Melling. Has he run this too far as well? Or is he just about on this one?
Yeah, I mean, he can reroute and take the ball to the bottom left, but he's clearly played for, well, maybe the top one passes the...
Oh, he flicked that as well on the way through, and that's... He's not even held his hand up. I mean, I don't know if Jordan's seen that from sat in his seat, but he certainly flicked that other yellow on the way through there.
Yeah, there's no way he played.
And even this is not a great angle. This is a bad angle. Look, and you can see Melling's reaction there. It's not a good angle, this.
That was a really casual shot, that last one.
Oh, and this is... Oh, my God. I've never seen him play left-handed as well. Oh, my God. And I tell you what, he's got away with that. I cannot believe what I just... And you can see from Jordan's reaction, he's like...
Wow, they call him the Magician. He had to cast a spell there because there were a couple of things that could have gone wrong at the end of that frame. I don't know if everyone would have played it quite like that.
I mean, he almost looked like my cue action playing that left-handed. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't great.
Annoyed with that because having run out that last frame, he'd got his opponent sitting in his chair shaking his head. He'd been pretty keen to continue that. It's much easier for Jordan to put that out of his mind if he's at the table. These yellow balls are pretty good. Well, he's played a risky positional shot there, but he's played it well. He's found his way through the gap.
Probably plays the yellow below the 8 ball now. Probably his toughest ball on the table, and if he could land on the one in the centre of the table after this, well, he's chose to leave the one over the left corner. But yeah, certainly the one in the centre of the table is what he's going to try and get on this shot now. And he's played that really bad. He's hit the potting angle far too thick there, and he's come really short. He's trying to leave the one which is in the centre of the table into the left middle there.
He's lucky he's a good potter because this reroute is not an ideal one. I have to go down the table and then back up again. He's describing himself in the pre-match interview as being a jack of all trades, referring to the fact that he's been playing a lot of snooker recently. He's then been out to China playing some Chinese 8-ball and now finds himself back in the UK playing English 8-ball.
He might play this shot now. Well, he's looking to leave the yellow fin, but could he play this yellow off one of the reds into the corner, which would give him the right angle to run through? Possibly, because he's going to leave it very thin otherwise, and he has played it, but he's hit it too thick. If he hit that red thinner, he would have potted it and left the last yellow into the left corner, but he's just hit that too thick.
Yeah, and that was all caused by the ball that he potted over the pocket, getting the angle wrong on that, and then slipped out of position in a spot where it looked like he had the frame sewn up.
And the reason he potted that too thick was because he had a lot of right hand side on the cue ball, and he's just straightened up maybe a lot more than he thought, or maybe just misjudged the shot. But yeah, he's hit that far too thick and left himself a lot of work to do. You see here, Melling's aiming up the loss of turn shot, and what he's also going to try and do is get the cue ball on the bottom rail here, probably behind the 8-ball. Has he left a gap though?
Loss of 2.
Well, if he hasn't, that's a good shot. It was always the risk. It did look like there was a slight gap there. Deliberately played it that way round. He had the chance to play a loss of turn at the top of the table earlier, but that wouldn't have allowed him to get the white safe, which is why he played a slightly unusual previous pot, just trying to get the white right down to that bottom corner to set that ball up. So can Jordan just bend round? Hitting the yellow's okay, but it's just, where is he going to send it? Wow, he almost sent it into the opposite corner pocket.
But yeah, he certainly had the potting angle there, because he potted that thick, so it definitely went.
Yeah, I mean, it was a slightly tricky shot because he was trying to sort of bend round. It wasn't the most natural, but it's been a very costly outcome because these reds are now perfect for Chris. These are going to be disappearing in no time. Could have found people before the match supporting either player. I guess Chris Melling would have been the favourite, but wouldn't have been a whole lot in it. It's turned out so far to be quite a one-sided scoreline.
Yeah, this is certainly not how Jordan's played in his other matches, and obviously Melling's not really been on top form, should we say, and looks like to be going into a 4-0 lead as well, so he'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're almost happier you've got this big lead and you haven't yet played well, because Chris is going to know there's more in the tank to come. So that 4-0 lead is confirmed. Only 4 frames behind is sometimes only really two dry breaks behind. So he pulls out the cut break for the first time. We haven't seen too much of that from any players over the course of the weekend, but he does sometimes like to break like this. A good chance to get his first frame on the board. Surprisingly, time not really a factor in this match. I mean, the first 4 frames have probably taken a bit longer than you would have expected. 22 minutes of playing time, which is sometimes enough to play the entire match with these two. Still more than enough time to get back into it. He just needs to find the chances.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, he's gone for the reds here, and the reason he screwed up table for this red now is because he doesn't want this to be his last red onto the 8-ball. Probably any other red on the table is ideal to get on the 8-ball, and that's the reason why he screwed up table there for that ball. And as long as he's got an angle in this one into the centre now, he's got a good chance.
Well, you can see from his body language, his reaction to that. Didn't really want to be tight on the side cushion like this.
I think the angle he's got, he might not be able to leave a shot on after this, because it looks like he's, unless he can run through into the yellow and flick off it, I'm not sure he will have a shot. That's what he's tried to do, but just hasn't quite hit the yellow in the right place.
It was a tricky shot. It always looked like he was going to catch a bit too much of the yellow to drive through, but as you say, that was the only real chance he had. So does he want to continue with some attacking option, or is he just going to have to bail out of this?
The only shot he's got is to come off this red now, which he's doing, and try to knock the white into this other red. Hasn't quite got it.
Yeah, called it too thick. Could have elected to play that trace thinner and maybe come cushion first off the second ball. It's never going to be easy either way. Well, the pattern of the match is been very much like this the last few frames. Jordan getting in and turning over the table. So far hasn't been the one visit stuff that we might have expected. It's going to take a chance to move the one below the left centre pocket.
And I'm not sure that was the right shot from Melling there, because he's such a good potter. He could have easily left that yellow down the rail into the left corner, and as it happened he just about nudged it enough for the left middle, but I mean that shot could have gone wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a millimetre or two from going wrong, because if he nudges it closer to the cushion it doesn't pot, or if he gets the cue ball too tight to it, it doesn't pot. As it is, it's worked out well, because he's now got a choice of these 3 remaining yellows. Good view of his cue action there. Long cue action, almost pulls the cue ball back, a long way before striking the cue ball. So the one-way traffic continues right now. 5 frames played, 5 frames go the way of Chris Melling. For a second like he might come up dry, but the ball's found its way to the left centre.
Yeah, the one thing I don't like about Melling's break is the top spin he puts on the cue ball, and I just think with the tables these days being so slick, I feel like if you put any top spin on the cue ball when you're breaking, I think you lose power into the pack, and the majority of players when they break, they either stun the cue ball or screw it back,
Yellow ball's in play.
and I do feel like that puts more power into the pack, and obviously Melling is looking to control the cue ball as well, and that's the reason he's putting a little bit of topspin on the ball.
Yeah, it's perhaps a slightly older school break. I think it's probably come about because of the fact he's played a lot of 9-ball as well. I mean, in a way, he's playing the break that would be required if the conditions weren't quite so good. Your point about the quality of the tables, it basically means that you don't actually have to play with quite as much power as he's using. So other people who can't hit the ball anywhere near as hard as him are maybe finding ways to yield results. Either way, he's clearly got one of the best breaks in the game, so he's not going to change immediately while he's getting these results. Speaking of results, that doesn't appear to be the best outcome. He's opened up the pocket as he was intending, but found the cue ball into a bit of an awkward spot.
Yeah, and that was so unlucky to land there. I mean, he's cannon them balls probably exactly where he wanted to, and the flicks he got for the cue ball to finish where it did was so unlucky.
Absolutely must-win frame this for Jordan. He's just got to get himself going in this match.
I'm not sure about the path of the cue ball there. Did that look right to you, or I think that was a foul?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those ones that's played so quickly you can't. I think you would conclude you couldn't call it as a foul, where you're sort of judging it subjectively from the path, which I agree.
The path of the cue ball
you.
wasn't right there, and I'm very, well, I don't know, but very surprised that the not checked that.
Yeah, it's a tough one in years gone by, and in snooker that's the kind of foul you would call. The way the rules are written, unless it's very clear to see now, it's pretty hard to.
Yeah, it's just the path of the cue ball couldn't possibly go where it did without hitting any yellow balls. Unless it hit the jaw, maybe. Maybe it hit the jaw.
Yeah, actually didn't look so bad from that replay. Anyway, I think it was probably the only decision that could be made It all happened so fast, there wasn't any obvious foul you could have called. And the other thing that's happened fast is the rest of that clearance. Jordan Shepherd finally opening his account, most interchangeably, or pull and snooker in Jordan's case. You can understand the temptation because they're both very good at multiple forms of the game, but obviously it does make it hard to get into a rhythm when you are chopping and changing.
Yeah, but I think from this position they're at here now in the semi-final, it's not really an excuse to say that you've been playing, you know, different games, and I think you've had enough time to warm up to the reactions of the cue ball, and that just about a foul there. I think Jordan's called it. It's a good call.
Yeah, very sporting from Jordan. Let's have a look again at that. Immediately calls the foul on himself. So, good chance for Chris this. Ball in hand, obviously very helpful. Thought his opponent was about to clear up and suddenly finds himself back at the table. It's always nice when you can get one frame away from victory, because with this many frames still to go, you feel like you're going to get enough chances. Whilst he's still 2 away, Jordan will feel the comeback is possible. That's a good shot. Just wanted to make sure he got down for the 2 balls at the bottom of the table first. Cleared them out, and then he can use the last ball for easier position on the 8 ball.
Yeah, the main thing for Melling there was to get on the red ball, which was nearest to the rail, which he's just potted as soon as possible, and he's done that, and now makes the finish a lot easier.
In a lot of ways, this has been a good semi-final for Chris. Obviously, in the way of it being a good scoreline. So he doesn't persevere with the same break, where he tries to park the cue ball in the middle of the table. Well, you talked about the topspin earlier on, and that was an example of why having a lot of topspin on the ball isn't necessarily a good thing.
I mean, a little bit unlucky to spin it into the middle like that, but to be honest, it was the best break he hit the whole match, to be honest, and yeah, a little bit unlucky there, I'd say.
So the yellow's looking the better suit for Jordan. The only problem with the yellows is the fact that the 8 ball is blocked by a red at the moment.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I'd have gone for the reds there, because the only tough red on the table would have been the red which is on the right hand rail, and everything else had a pocket.
So what do you do here? Do you leave the yellow ball that's nearest to the 8 ball till last and just try to drop that and then get on the 8 ball? Or do you try and get to it earlier on? Going about it with this kind of usual casual demeanour. It already looks like he's worried. I mean, we're talking there is a problem ball on the table. He's not really acting like there is. Very instinctive player.
Yeah, and he's looking to leave that angle on the last yellow, as you mentioned. If he can just run this through now, somewhere near the red which is on the side rail. Just missed the pot though.
Yeah, just thinking about it, it was so important to leave the right angle on the last yellow. Just took his eye off the pot. Very easily done that. Considering the loss of turn here.
he could either play it off the red which is on the rail. Obviously that would be the better ball to play it off, but a little bit tougher to play, and maybe he's just going to go for the finish instead, and it's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, there are times when you can overthink it. He's more than capable of clearing up. It's really only the ball near the right-hand middle pocket that's a problem, but he's such a good potter. Can obviously always play for a double, but if he can drop behind it, that'll be okay too. Well, he's tried to move it, in fact. It's really helped. Well, it's not made a massive difference because he hasn't moved it far, but he doesn't really want to be knocking it close to the pocket, but not over it.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't go for the one top left corner now, because for me, the ball he's playing now is his last ball. But he's going to try and play a cannon, and I don't see why he's trying to do that.
No, he's tried that cannon twice now. He's just going to have to go back to potting it.
Yeah, for me, for a player like Melling, who's such a good potter, if he leaves that red down the rail anywhere good, he's potting that 9 times out of 10, and very surprised to see him try and play the cannon. But what would have happened before is if he played that shot earlier, what he's just played now, and left the one nearest to the black spot, this ball down the rail would have been a lot easier. Whereas now he just has to come out a little bit for the 8 ball. Should be alright though where it is. But I mean, I really can't see Melling missing this ball.
No, if he plays it pocket weight, it should be pretty much unmissable. And he has got quite a natural angle just to come out. Doesn't need to put too much on it. It's a match that you feel on a different day could have been a very different scoreline. Chris Melling completes a 7-1 victory over Jordan Shepherd. Jordan did have some chances in that match. He'll be disappointed with the way it went.